जय श्री कृष्ण भाई। वसंत पंचमी का अभिवादन। आज की वसंत पंचमी है, which is the day of manifestation of Goddess Saraswati. It is an important day in many ways, but more also an opportunity to recalibrate the way I think about it, reset, recalibrate. What's done is done. Just said in the beginning of the dhyan, I said it is what it is. What's happened has happened, but I still have the control. I still have the choice. I can still choose to recalibrate. Today is a good day to recalibrate. However I have been in the past, so be it. Whatever thoughts I have had, whatever negativity I have harbored, I am not looking back. From here on, I'm looking forward. Sort of a resolution. Because I've invited Mother Goddess, Saraswati, to come into my being, and we just heard, just pure as pure can be. Purity in itself. Brahma's first creation. She was before the creation was created. Saraswati was created first. And there's a story associated with that. You may or may not be aware, maybe some other time, but there's a reason why Brahma, you don't find any temples of Brahmadev. There's temples of Vishnu and there's temples of Shiva. And there's even temples of them together, like Hari Har or Shiva Vishnu. But you do not find a temple of Brahma. There is one, but not common, and it has to do with this manifestation of Saraswati. So it's a good day to recalibrate, like I was saying in the beginning when we were talking also, or during the dhyan itself, as I was saying. The cliche we have heard, change is the only constant. But we do have to bring it into life, into practice, and it's very applicable for today's reflection, particularly because again we'd set this up a lot. Yet last session we'd said next session, meaning today. Do you remember that the exit will come when we will? It's a very critical point. Obviously, we're in the 18th chapter. We've covered 42 verses in the 18th chapter. It has 78. So we're, Jai Shri Krishna, we're more than half done in the last chapter of the entire Gita. So we're in the last half of the last chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. We just had our dhyan on Vasant Panchami, Saraswati ka Pragatya Aaj ka. We talked through that. But that's one of the things besides the Saraswati worship I was saying during meditation, just to bring it out, was that everything is changing around me. Everything has always changed around me. Everything is changing around me right now, and everything will change around me. And it's interesting that, and yet I have been the same. How often do I pay attention to that which is the same, and how often do I get dragged by that which is changing? No wonder I get anxious. No wonder I get agitated. No wonder I get worried. No wonder I get frustrated and angry and all of it, because I'm only looking at everything that is changing around me. And I was sharing that Madhvi is not here today. She was going to come, but she lost her job because the USAID shutting down the whole company. And so she said, I need some time to process. Fair enough. So it's different when it happens to us and in the immediate, but it is also this training that prepares us for when it happens. And if it hasn't, it is also this training that will prepare us for when that will happen. And that will happen. If that will not, then something else will happen. So, word to the wise, now is a good time. And Vasanta Panchami is a fine day to recalibrate. Where have we been, where we're going, how distracted we are versus concentrated we are. As I was also saying, Saraswati, the name itself suggests in your Gujarati, it's like Bahut Saras hai. Saras word. So Vati is growing. The one who continues to grow in Saras, in superiority, the superiority of purity, goodness, clean, all of that, goodwill. And hence we worship Saraswati, that may you inspire me. Looking at you, may I also want to grow from strength to strength. But that can only happen if we pay attention to the constant that I am. Well, everything is changing around me, like the eye of the hurricane. It travels all like thousands of miles, and everything around it is changing, but it's grounded. And so during Dhyan, the verse that I cited from the second chapter, Dukkeshu anudvigna mana sukheshu vigata spruha vitaraga bhaya krodha sthita dharmaniruchyate. If I want to remain unaffected by the change, understand this, that's something that you already know. But if it is at the forefront or not, change is always happening. Like it or not, know it or not, see it or not, experience it or not, change is always happening. Sometimes small change, sometimes big change, good change, bad change. Change is always happening. And yet I am the same one from very childhood, that I remember so much has changed. I mean, what hasn't? So much has changed. Understand, get the profundity of this statement. So much has changed, drastically changed. And yet so much has stayed the same, have I not? Because I am that thread in the mala. I am that thread in all of the change. And so it is good time, it is a good calling to get back to that and get grounded in that constant that I am, that throughout the Gita, that thread has been woven. And if I'm not able to identify myself as that, then I can identify my Lord at least as that. That Krishna is that constant, whoever is, Shiva is constant. And then by association, because I am the devotee, at least when I hitch my wagon to a star, I also ride. I don't know if you guys did, but when I was growing up in school, like in India, we used to first walk, but then later on we got the bike and we used to bike to school. When you get tired, if there was an auto rickshaw going, or a rickshaw going, or a truck going, they would figure out a way to hold on to it. The guys definitely would have done this in the past. I have a number of times. And then more than half of the school were effortlessly. And it's not that I had that power. I did not have the power. In fact, I was tired. But I was able to smartly manage holding on to this with one hand. And so even if I'm not able to identify the constant in me, if I can identify the constant in my guru or in the Ishta Devata, and hold on to that with faith, हाथ पकड़ के जैसे कि no, I'm not leaving this because it will take me. कहाँ के कहाँ पहुँच जा सकते हैं उस विश्वास से भी. So whether through knowledge or through devotion. But we do have to take refuge either within ourselves, that the constant that I am, or the constant that I see amidst all the change. Otherwise, we're just going to be battered. It's feeling good right now because everything is good. It's going to feel very differently at some point also. And if not this, then something else. If not the job, then health. If not my health, if someone else's health. If not the health, there's a wildfire. At the same time, there's a snow. The snow is killing people on this end, and fire is killing, and then there's hurricane, and there's drought in the same land. So this is the time to prepare for it. And the significance of today, again, the third time I'll say that it's a day of recalibration. All right, I get to reset it again. What's happened, gone is gone, done is done. Mother Saraswati, because she's pure, clean, good, always has a clean slate. Clean slate, as we say. Can you give me a clean slate? I've been bad, I've made mistakes, I've been wrong. Well, number one, Mother always forgives. Saraswati is the cleanest. And therefore, with her, this slate is always clean when you approach her. And so right now, we get a clean slate to start with. So it's a day of rejoice. It's a moment to be happy about. Frankly, every moment is like that. The more we can expand our consciousness. But until our consciousness is expanded to be able to see that every moment is like that, at least grab these momentous moments, these monumental incidents like this or that, like Mahashiratri I gave you later this month, Mahashiratri. Phenomenal, absolutely astoundingly powerful day to also make more progress. So with that, then we'll get into the 18th chapter, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. For context, again, much has been said until now. Like more than 650 verses have been cited, and we've all studied. Congratulations! This is a great accomplishment. More than 650 verses have fallen upon our ears repeatedly, especially in our section, वही बात कितने बार होती है. And the goodness in you wouldn't even stop me from pouring you. They have fallen on our ears. We've thought about it. We've studied those. And we're like, really, last time I had said, we're about to take an exit this time, in which this is like the final exit. Long journey, when you drive 18 hours, like finally, that is the exit. Now I'm get into my hood. That sort of thing. When we get to the, we'll do 2 or 3 verses, and then the shlok that we come to, Sve Sve Karmani Bharata Sansiddhim Lavate Naraha. That's that exit that I talk about. When Krishna will say that, listen, just be in the position that you're in. Stay where you're at. Stay where you've been put in. Put up with what's happening with you. Because ultimately, if you realize your goal is to realize your original nature, then it isn't about what it is that you have to do. It is in how you do whatever it is you have to do. It never is about exactly what my duty is, what my job is, where am I, or which kind of kids or spouse or relatives, or which country, which party. It isn't about what kind of body have I inherited, what kind of house. It isn't about what. It always is about how. And therefore he says, and that how is the same. Righteous, with integrity, aligned with dharma. And it's the broadest possible definition. Wherever you are, whatever it is that you're doing, it isn't about that. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, if you're doing it with integrity and aligned with goodness, truth, goodness, and love, right? Dharma ki paribhasha karni mein to, are you aligned with truth? Are you aligned with goodness, pure goodness? And are you doing it in love? If those three, then it doesn't matter if you're cutting somebody's hair and barely making ends work and buying groceries with food stamps, or you got so much money that you're throwing $1 million every day to voters to vote for your party. It doesn't matter who's keeping the count. It's the same difference. In God's eyes, same difference, meaning no difference. It's the same thing, because how am I doing it? And that's up to us. I don't necessarily control where I will work, what job I will have, whether my H-1B will get converted into green card and then citizenship or not. I don't control that. Maybe I have to go back. Maybe I have to leave my job. Maybe my body does not support me any longer. I don't control the what's. But regardless, I always control the how. How I want to feel, how I want to process this, how I want to show up, how I want to do, how much integrity do I want to keep, how selfish or unselfish I want to be. How we always control. And that's the full control that the good Lord has given us. And in doing that, he has said that I've given you my greatest power, the power to choose. Only in the human form. It said not even gods or demigods. Na Dev, Asur, Yaksha, Rakshas, Gandharva, Pannag, Akshar, Apsara, Nag, किसी को ये नहीं मिला, खाली मनुष्य योनि में मिला है. And as Adi Shankar, the greatest teacher in the land of India, arguably, has said, if you have been born as a Manusha, then like you got everything it takes. And he said, on top of that, if you actually have the desire for salvation, if you have the question burning in you, like, what is this? Why am I here? Why do it? Then he says, you're like very, very superior. Like you're like the top 10% of even the humans, which are the top 1% of all of creation. Within that, as a human, if you're questioning that why, what, how, like with the spiritual bend, then you're even in that 1%. And on top of that, Manushyatvam, Mumukshatvam, Mahapurushasya Sangam. If you have accepted some refuge in either some grantha like the Gita, or Guru Grantha like the Sikhs do, or some Guru, living Guru, or some saint of your, Narsi Mehta, whomever, Mirabai, wherever Shraddha, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that I will follow that. Then he says, you are now the 1% of that 1%. Who are the of the 1%? Manushyattam, Mumukshattam, Mahapurusha Sangam. Now you are one step away from realizing God. Yeah? Because and by realizing, meaning not only seeing the vision, but identifying, meaning becoming one with, experiencing what his experience is. These are not just words. You know? I mean, these are words too, but this is a lot more than that. in the 14th chapter, the second verse, he had said that Mama Sadharme Magata. He says, you will become like me. Your qualities will be like my qualities. Your experience will be like my experience. My experience. Am I not here in the battlefield? I'm not even carrying weapons. I don't even have a bone to pick with anyone. And yet, am I crying? Have I sat down? Am I running away? Am I saying I would rather beg? I'm showing up. I showed up, right? Krishna showed up before Arjun, before anyone did. He shows up every day. He's the last one to leave every day. The battlefield also, the last one to sleep also. I show up. Why? Because I am aligned with dharma. So I am not leaving dharma because the right shall prevail. Therefore, until I am alive, it's not possible that adharma will prevail. And so if he is showing up with such fortitude, then the followers of him will show up like in this example, in the Gita of the example. So it is very empowering. It was very empowering to me. I think it can be very empowering to anyone. That, hey, faltu jhanjhata mein ab tak pade the, unnecessarily bothered by like trivial stuff. The what's and the when and the where and aisa, vaisa, taisa. It trivial hai. Chiller. Trivial matlab chiller baat hai. Aisa, vaisa, vaisa. The highway, the main thing is how. It doesn't matter how you behave with me. It doesn't matter what he or she does to me. It doesn't matter what the entire universe concurs against me. It's all about how I show up. That's always in my control. Not the what. And that is getting close to God. So, Manushya Janma mein, what's possible is Atma Sakshatkar, self-realization. Atma Sakshat Sa Aksha. Aksha is Aankhe. Sa Aksha, Aankhon ke samne Akar. Like as if you see your soul with your own eyes, that I am the soul, I'm not the body. And so from self-realization, Atma Sakshatkar, the next step, as if the door, you've knocked on the door and the door is opening and there's God. Bhagvat Sakshatkar. That you're eye to eye, you're face to face, you're one, identified with God, godliness. Yahan tak, this much prowess and promise is in our scriptures and is within us. In the 10th chapter, there is a quarter word like Jnana Deepena Bhaswata. Shri Krishna says, like that knowledge is already in you. Right now, there's darkness inside. Therefore, if there was pitch dark here when you walked in, you would not know who's sitting. If nobody was saying who is sitting, what's happening, nothing, right? Pitch dark, like black dark. Oh, halka sa gently lit something. You start seeing something, but when you enter now, there was light. You saw everything. No big. You didn't even think about it. It's just default. So Jnana Deepena Bhaswata, right? The knowledge is already, this experience that I'm speaking of, that I have had, it's already there in you. But it's just that until there's darkness, the ability to see it is not there. कोई ज़्यादा फर्क नहीं है between those who have experienced it. Like, in fact, कुछ भी फर्क नहीं है. Like the one person just flipped the switch and sees everything. The other person is finding the switch. The time will come when you flip the switch also. The sights are the same and the light is the same and the sphere is the same and all of that. It's just, is there light or not? So deep is the lamp, Jnana Deep, the light of the lamp, Bhaswata, like everything will illuminate. Within yourself, he said, I've already programmed it. The time will come when you see everything within yourself. So, but that requires commitment, that requires rigor, that requires constantly bringing us back on track. We keep getting off track, constantly bring us. But we can look back 10 years and see, no, I'm pretty much, I'm maybe wobbly, but still mostly on track. I might slip off once in a while, but I also know now how to get myself back on track also. That's tremendous progress of human birth. So otherwise, think about it. This time, what does it take to squander away hour and a half? 1.5 घंटे जाने को क्या लगता है? Let's turn, flip some channels. Before you know it, 2 घंटे हो गए. Or scroll, or pick up the phone, or newspaper. लेकिन उससे आज तक क्या हुआ? है ना? How much have you read? And said, this introspection, this reflection, this going within is what stirs up the soul. It's soul stirring. Everything else is just stirring. So this is soul stirring. Therefore, I congratulate you, and I also thank you for showing up, for also bringing this opportunity. You may not realize it, the gravity of my words, but I benefit it untold, X number of times than you benefit from these. Because I get to be here, I get to think, I get to share, that there is no end to the gratitude that I have towards you for this opportunity. I could not describe with my words how grateful I am for this. Because this is seva for me. And this gets to that shlok also. For me, it is not about who shows up, who doesn't, when, what. It's that the opportunity is there and I am going to deliver it. It's all about how I show up. It's never about, right? And I cannot tell you what a deep peace there is, how strong security there is in, what a calm peace of mind there is, how much strength there is in the conviction when I'm only focused on how I show up, regardless, and I've turned off all the noise from the outside. And I encourage you to do that as well. I'm describing this context of that verse, that exit that I'd said, that it really now launches us into, okay, the time has come. You're ready to take on. That's why at the end of this section, he says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya, right? His last sort of words, Mam Ekam Sharanam Braj, not the last verse, but that's the last advice. Leave all of this. It's okay. Everything. Now you found the way. Now you know that I am with you, I am in you, I am you, right? Therefore, just don't worry about what's happening outside. Stay with me, stick with me. It's okay if you don't know this or that, ye dharam, wo dharam, pita ka, I'm also a husband, I'm a son, I'm a brother, and this and that. Mam ekam sharanam raja. The path that I've laid in front of you of truth, goodness, and love. Whoever is in front of you, whatever you're doing, wherever you've been brought, whatever, just stick to that. That's the path of Krishna. That's the path of Dharam. Aham tva sarva papya. He says, like, watch me get rid of all your grief. Instantly vanished. No grief, no regret, no remorse, no mourning. And completely replaced with prasannata. This is the God of prasannata. Krishna, why was I so attracted to Krishna, the Lord of love? Because he's the God of just ecstasy. Prasannata ka Bhagavan hai. Effortless, spontaneous bliss, just by association. It says, look, everything, all negativity will be replaced. All negativity be completely flushed out and flooded with positivity. Oh, I wanted that. Who doesn't? इसलिए again, untold glory, sir, आप लोग ऐसा जरूरी नहीं कि आपको यहाँ हमेशा आना चाहिए. You know that I will come to Gainesville or wherever we have to. So however we want to finish this off. अभी जो in Centerville में we've started in the last 3-4 weekends. We started like complete brand new set of group people, and then we're doing it differently. There we just finished the first chapter. We started the second chapter in like three weeks, and you'll be like, why 3 weeks? यहाँ पे 3 साल लग गए करके. But we picked a different way of like jumping from like more important themes, picking a few really key verses in every chapter, and then going on to. So this morning we were in the second chapter, which will take 2 or 3 sessions, but still. So after we finish the 18th chapter, maybe we can take that on or do something different, or you all talk, or however. But the more we stay on this, we're only going to progress, not regress. And as when we get off from this, and if we don't stay in it, regrettably, we do regress. वो धीरे 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 फिसल जाता है. देखना, watch it. Those who were in it, how they were then, and those who have left, how they are now. And so we should have sympathy for them, empathy for them, love for them, concern for them, and be open to them, be inclusive of them, and always be ready for them to serve. है ना? लेकिन होता ही है. ये संसार का नियम है, सृष्टि का नियम है. Which is, if you're not growing, you're dying. Just like in business world, for example, we're taught, exactly, if you're not growing, you're dying. Just accept it. It's hard to remain at that sustainable level. So, especially Saraswati, the growing in the goodness, Nam, as the name suggests, we must stay committed to that as well. So last time we done. In fact, let me stop here and reflect on this before we get to the next stage. Yeah. So if I understand your question is, what do I owe to the universe?
And what do I own?
Own in the universe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a fantastic question. Yeah, I do remember the balance sheet and the whole accounting had come up a few times in our reflections. One time I had also said that in accounting, just so the expense and the revenue are maintained separately. Revenue does not automatically negate the expense. You have all the positives on one side, you have all the negatives on one side, and then you look at the net in the end. But so वैसे पाप or punya, I had as the time I was saying that just because you did something good does not mean that the effect of something bad is now negated. You'll have the benefit of all the good that you did. You also pay for all your sins. You as an I or we, right? All of that. So you have to put up with both the merits and the demerits of the good and the bad. In the end, it's not that it. And I had said God is the most perfect accounting system. Now it misses nothing. No, that's like never has, never will. छोटे से छोटे में. Therefore, it's just best to be on the right side and keep our books clean, as they say, and good interpretation of the balance sheet, also the assets and liabilities, and all of that. So here's the thing: there are two ways to think about it, Falguni Ben. Either as from the Gyan perspective or from the devotion perspective, and in the end, it points to the same thing. Ultimately, you are everything. I'm just going to put it out in simple words. Maybe it means something, maybe it means nothing, but just the final truth. Ultimately, you, the real you, may not be the you that you think you are right now. Maybe you're there. I don't know. Only you would know where you are.
Yeah.
But if I were to speak to a Brahma Gyani right now, so if you were to watch a conversation, right, then it's still like, you're everything. And the person would say, yeah, of course. What else? Who else? Or that I would say that I am it. I am everything. So if I am everything, what do I owe myself? Whatever thing that I owe, say money or some boon, whatever, right? Object. Well, I am that. Whoever I owe it to, I am that. Whoever I owe it to, whatever it is that I owe, and whichever one owes whatever to whomever, is also the same self, the consciousness that pervades everything, expands everywhere. So where is the question of owing, quote unquote, anything to anyone at all? In pure knowledge, you do not owe. In pure knowledge, when you, like, maybe we do Ashtakra Gita after this, Bhagavad Gita, in knowledge. In fact, in the third chapter, also Karma Yoga, that shlok comes also, and maybe I'll cite that as well. But if you were to realize, awake in the full glory of yourself, Sampurna Gyan, Jnana Deepena Bhasvata, in the illumination, the enlightenment, the Buddha would not owe anyone anything. Yeah. And the Buddha, what did he own? There is no, if you own everything, if your feeling is replete, if you're convinced, if you know that all this is yours, belongs to you, everything the light touches shall be yours, as once Mufasa said to Simba, right? And if truly is, then where is the question of owning and not owning? You will take what you need. You will want nothing, right? Big difference. You will take what you need. You'll drink as much water as you need to. You will eat, and you'll ask. You will have no shame in begging and say, "Well, give me something to eat. Yeah, I need to fill this belly." You'll eat. When you're content, you'll be fine. It's all yours. The one who's giving, what is being given, the one who's taking, where it is going, all of that. Brahmarpanam, Brahma Havir, Brahmagno, Brahmana Hutam, Brahma Eva Tena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. 9th chapter, Raj Vidya Raj Goya Yogi. The realization is that, oh my God, everything is Brahma. And I am the Aham Brahmasmi. I am that Brahma. The one who's performing the yajna, the one with which the yajna is being performed, the one in which, the one for which, all of that, I am that, therefore. So from a pure Gyan perspective, because you are it. You really don't owe anyone anything. And it is our disidentification from that truth and misidentification with the limited body that I am sinful, I wronged them, I owe them this, I must do that, or that they did so much for me, I owe them that back. This is all in the dark layer of ignorance. Forgive me. But it is by ignorance, I mean limited perspective. I don't mean ignorance, but limited perspective. When you could have watched the entire sky, if your eyes had the aperture was 360-degree view, versus this telescope right here, sitting here, when you look through that, you get like a 3-inch, 6-inch view. How long will it take you to map the entire sky? The life will not be complete, and you'll still not be able to see the whole thing, and you'll never see at once the entire sky. You'll only see patches. You might put it together and all of that, but the whole truth you will not until it's wide awake, like the eyes can see 360 all around, right? And so right now, I wouldn't say that telescope is ignorant. It's limited. It's shrunk. Its vision is shrunk. So our thought, our mind is limited in small sizing who we are, what we are. And therefore, well, I am this much, therefore this, the one next to me, I either owe them someone or they owe me something or something. But isko agar फाड़ के फेंक दिया है, telescope, and when you look at it, well, where is the difference? Where is the boundary? Where is the line? There isn't. कि यहाँ तक sky मेरा है, उसके वाला sky, उसका है. Sky is the sky. There is just one. So when there is the oneness that gets established, अद्वैत जो होता है ना, ज्ञान का जो मार्ग है. From a bhakti perspective, you replace that I am everything with God is everything. That I belong to God. God is everything. God is in everyone. Therefore, like whatever has to be done, He's in control. Samartha hai mera Bhagwan. Therefore, I don't worry as a devotee. I do not worry. Feeling to aati hai once in a while. I mean, having knowledge, putting it to the side, my chosen path is of love, devotional path, because of His grace, only because of His mercy. But in that I know that it's not that I have to do this and I have to do that. I need only trust my Lord. I need only love my Lord. I need only see my same Lord in everyone. And I need only remain faithful to the God in you and you and you, because it's the same God that I worship. Therefore, the feeling, it becomes so small, almost meaningless, completely forgotten that I owe you this, they owe me that, or this pride that I own this or I should own this. Because I'm really focused on something very large, much bigger than any of this together. Because I'm focused on God, suppose, right? For example. So either way it works. In both cases, it just drops. It's a sin. At some level, it's a sin. The thought that you may be harboring, if you are, that I owe something to someone and that someone owes something to me, or that I own this or that I want to own it, it is bordering sinful. It is not yet sin, but when it will manifest, ये जब पक्का हो जाएगा मन में, उससे पाप होगा. Watch out. Be guarded against it. Be careful in it. And it's like, cut it out. It's crap. Cut it out. That's not the truth. And sin isn't anything bad. Sin simply means ignorance. Sanskrit में अंधकार कहते हैं, अज्ञान से पाप होता है. It just means that you're deluded. It's not true. That's not how it is. पाप किया मतलब ये तो पूरा इसको नरक में डालो, ऐसा नहीं कहा है ना, इसको जला दो, forever burn till eternity, because there's this sin. ऐसा नहीं है. उसके उल्टा बेचारे है, उनको like in fact Jesus Christ also said it like that. They know not what they do, forgive them the Lord. उसने नहीं कहा ये sinful है, इनको जला देना करके, है ना. So there's no reason to get negative about sin or sinful people. Why go there? So you don't. Sorry, but I have to give you the same answer that you thought would be boring answer.
Yeah. That was like the whole contemplation with myself, like, okay.
Yeah. No. देखो, ये mark bindas first class का mark. Don't forget the mantra.
No.
One of the very first sessions at Neelam that you'd come years ago, it said, this is where we get to be bindas. This is where everything is first class, right? But in truth and in the realization, not in denial, not in delusion, there is a way to be bindas and first class in denial and delusion. Kuch nahi hai, there is no problem. Just go away, just bury your head in the sand. Everything is first class, bindas. There is also to be bindas and first class in truth. and waking up. So, and then this is that path. So, hope this makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And I think going.
Yeah, absolutely. My fond wish really is to start a new series called Life Questions, Gita Answers. Simple as that. है ना? जीवन के प्रश्न गीता के उत्तर हिंदी में. तो because life does question, does it not? Every step of the way. And you tell me Gita does answer, does it not? So whichever way you want to think about it, life questions, Gita answer. And so we just bring our questions. I bring my questions to you. You bring your questions to me. And with the help of the Gita, we process it, we right-size it, and we get through it. Okay. It could be a very open forum. अभी आजकल सब open source.
Forum with an open mind.
Right. Yeah.
Open source with
Yeah.
an open mind.
And I mean, by the way, this is the greatest example of open source in this Gita. It's actually sourced from the massive, biggest, colossal body of knowledge, right? Upanishads that come from Vedas. It was very intelligent. Just talk about the superbly sharp artificial intelligence. Look at the divine intelligence. Like, how long would it take to source the exact verses, put them together in a concise, precise way, and deliver it such that this man who has just fallen, sank in his chariot, will get back up again and pick up his bow and arrow and say, okay, I'm ready. 180-degree turn. That takes a lot of natural intelligence also. And it was sourced, and it was openly available to everyone else too. ऐसा नहीं कि भगवान ने खाली like this was just properly. So this concept of it, and it's in the form of Q&A. Like you put your query and the answer comes. The whole Gita is in the form of question and answer. In fact, its source, Upanishads are nothing but question and answers also. So the theme that's built on, and you see how truth is timeless. Thousands of years ago, jo truth tha, that method, that approach, the truth has prevailed. And it's still showing up in the strongest and the healthiest way through science also.
After 5,000 years, it's still relevant.
Yeah.
That's the amazing thing.
And
It's
if you
still-
think
and
about
will
it.
continue to.
Yeah.
Even for next 5,000 years.
So isn't it something to be proud of? Isn't it something to embrace and make it our own? That we have to our disposal, we have available the very source, like the Holy Grail. इसके लिए सब सोच रहे थे. Anyway, we had finished the 42nd verse last time out of the 78 in this chapter, which is the last one. तीन धर्म ग्रस्त ये सब जो वर्णाश्रम ब्राह्मण क्षत्रिय वैश्य शूद्र के धर्मों के विषय में शमो दमः तपः शौचम शांतिम आर्जवमेव च ज्ञानम विज्ञानम आस्तिक्यम ब्रह्म कर्म स्वभावजम. लास्ट टाइम वी फिनिश दैट कि ब्राह्मण का क्या कर्तव्य होता है, धर्म क्या है. यहाँ पर गोइंग बैक टू विच जॉब एंड व्हाट डू आई डू, he starts saying it isn't so much about what like again how we've gone through that, how so-called non-born Brahmins can be superior Brahmins, and so-called born Brahmins can also be very non-Brahminical. So ये तो फिर तो वो तो born Brahmin है, वो तो Brahmin है, लेकिन but the way they're showing up, the way they're behaving is not Brahmin-like, and therefore है ना. इसलिए 2 बार भगवद गीता में अलग अलग जगह पे भगवान ने कहा. एक बार 6ठे अध्याय में कहा था कि ये गुण कर्म विभाग है, they are determined by their characteristics and how they show up. और इस अध्याय में भी इसी श्लोक के पहले कहा था कि I have sorted these, categorized these based on how people behave, what their propensities are, उनका inclination, what they like, what they don't like, how they will end up behaving, what choices will they make. इसके अनुसार मैंने किया है. And now because of the DNA, the power of the DNA, normally बच्चा बेटे जैसा दिखता है, वो बेटी माँ जैसी आवाज़ उसकी सेम है, oh he looks like you, or this ये वो. The DNA passes on, for the most part passes on the thinking, the way they think, the way they talk, the way they walk, the way they would make the choice, for the most part. इसलिए the pattern was observed that Brahman's son was a Brahman, and a Kshatriya's son was also very brave, was fearless, and really wanted to establish their own dominion. Okay, my father grew my, I want to take it further. Because of the DNA and the nature of that, it wasn't that, oh, if you're born, like it was just a natural trait. But there were exceptions also, because at the end of the day, that Brahman son and the Kshatriya son still had a mind of their own and still could make a choice of their own. And when they made the choices that were aligned with their DNA, that the makeup, how we are made, the system design, the system setting, when we're aligned with it, that is called dharma. If the device operates in the way it is designed, I'm going to keep it with me and use it and take care of it. But if it starts to act up and do something completely different, I'm going to terminate it and throw it. And because it's of no longer use, because it's doing the opposite of what is designed for, what the design, you know. So are we, each of us as the units of God. So it is in that sense that wo janam ka jo tha wo, but it got distorted. People forgot everything about it and just said, well, because it was born, ho gaya. It's not privileged by birth. It's privileged by the choices that we make. So today we go into 43, and we'll try to do a couple of these verses. Shauryam tejo dhrutir-daksham yuddhe cha palayanam दानम ईश्वर भावश्च क्षात्रम कर्म स्वभावजम. क्षत्रिय के स्वभाव से कर्म क्या होते हैं? शूरवीरता, तेज, धैर्य, चतुरता, युद्ध में न भागना, अभी अर्जुन भागने का प्रयास कर रहा है, दान देना और स्वामी भाव, ये सब के सभी क्षत्रिय के स्वाभाविक कर्म है. So remember, this key word is स्वाभाविक कर्म, स्वभावजम. It is natural to them. It is effortless. They don't have to try very hard. No. Typically for a Brahman who is generally raised as a Brahman and wants to remain that, being content with what I have, as much as I get, the natural tendency is to be content with. It's not that ye chahiye, wo chahiye, aisa vaisa. For a Kshatriya, it is very natural to be not content with what I have, and that I should have more, I should grow, my business should grow, my empire should grow, my party should grow, my power should grow, my body should grow, my family, my son's education and company, everything should grow. Because they're filled with rajas. And rajas is not a bad thing. Rajas no tate kuch nahi hota. Period. The truth is rajas. If rajas did not exist, nothing would exist. That's how critical and it is to the core of rajas. So there's nothing wrong or bad about it. It's quite different though, because it's all the constant setting is in more and different. Remember those two keywords. And when we get caught up in it, I want more, whatever, or I want different. Watch out! We got caught up into that table fan that I described. कभी स्थिर नहीं बैठने दे रही, इधर से उधर, उधर से इधर. And I'm like कागज का टुकड़ा. If I drop it in front of a table fan, घूमती रहेगा. If I hang it with a thread in front of it, like not for a minute will stay stable. Restless, constantly restless. Restful नहीं हो पाएगा. So ऐसे rajas में, that's when we get tired, fatigued, frustrated, angry, desperate, restless, all of it. No? Because I want more and I want different, more different. But उनका setting ही वैसा होता है. They do want more, they do want different. Then they are not happy with just one wife. They will have more wives or different wife. और जहाँ पर भी राज सकता है, get different car every year, we lease our car, get a different car every year, or move to a different city, go to a different vacations, or wear different clothes. If I've worn it for 2 years, throw it, get a new one. More, different. Rajasita. It's very dangerous. It's very sad, because it will never let them find their true identity. It's only one purpose: do not let them find who they are, and therefore keep them attracted to more and different. Always burning with, but there's more to be had. There's something else to be had. They have this, I don't have that. They have this much, I only have this much. More and different. Therefore, agar itna ho, maybe itna ho, like this big. Maybe I can fill this entire house. But as long as I'm focused on only that, I will never be able to explode through this and become the entire universe. Because I'm constantly putting boundaries around me. Maybe this big, maybe bigger, but not like in an instant completely ripping through that and saying, I am it. What that is possible in the Brahman state of mind. That जो प्राप्त है वो पर्याप्त है, जो अप्राप्त है वो अपर्याप्त है. However much I have is sufficient for me to get the job. And what I don't have, there will never be any end to it. No? इसलिए sometimes I remind, जितना प्राप्त है वो पर्याप्त है, जो प्राप्त नहीं, जो अप्राप्त है वो अपर्याप्त भी है. slave, being content with jo prapta. So इनमें क्या होता है? First is shauryam, and they're brave hearts. Kshatriyas are the soldiers, are the generals, they're brave hearts. They're not fearful, they're fearless souls. Tej होता है, vigor होता है, ardor होता है, rigorous होता है. Even in the way they speak, Shivaji Maharaj, या Rana Rajput, या जो भी, I don't know if Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was there, but there's many examples of Kshatriyas. They're fearless. They'll just say it as they see it. They're not worried about or fearful about what, like, है ना? Dam होता है, damak होती है Kshatriyo में. Therefore, they're very honorable, respectful, and they're worshipped as kings also. Dhruti Rdaksha, Dhruti is dhairya. They have the courage. They're very alert. They're very vigilant. They're very guarded. They're always watchful also. Yuddhe cha apalayam. They don't easily back off. They're hard-headed. They stay grounded. They stay put. That, nope, my position, my way or the highway, no matter what. And those are the signs of like strength in a way. Like only the strong can do that. Or at least strong-willed. Maybe their body may not be strong. This is all about the will, is it not? And all the descriptions of even the Brahman, they're not the descriptions dan, sham, dam, ये सब मन का है ना. These are all the qualities of the will. Will मतलब अंदर का माल जो है वो, not of the body. So a kshatriya may be weak, but the will is strong still. And that's yuddhe cha palayam, like never backing off from a battle, from battlefield, from field. So dhanam ishvara bhavascha. They're also giving, and you'll notice that I've noticed it again and again. They find it very easy to give also, because they know that I can always get more. It's easier to get something from a kshatriya than from any other kaum. Like, because I do this, I run this non-profit, no kid hungry, share our strength. So मैं अपनी झोली उठा के ले जाता हूँ सबके सामने. So seriously are some of the most giving people. You just have to say it and it's done. And I admire them, I honor them, and I'm always humbled by them. Unka jadani Ishvara bhavascha, because they like the feeling of being superior. The giver is superior, right? In a sense. It's not that because of that they give, it's innate to their nature. That I am higher, I am. And in a way, Sanjeev Bhai, if you're thinking, this sort of starts to reflect the quality of the soul. The soul knows that I am superior, I am the greatest, I am the biggest. But the way it manifests, it's quite differently through the body and the mind. And therefore it puts a kibosh on it, it puts a limit on it. And therefore that frustration and that friction, the identification with the body, I am the biggest, I am the greatest, I am the strongest. But the body is never going to be the biggest and the strongest, or the mind. Only when you become the soul, identify with the soul. So that friction is always there, which is why they're restless. So dhanam ishvara bhavascha kshatra karma swabhavajam. Those are the kshatriyas. I will do one more, and then we'll stop for reactions as well. Share your experiences. Krushi gauraksha vanijam vaishya karma swabhavajam paricharyatmakam karma shudrasyapi swabhavajam. This is 44, chapter 18. खेती, गोपालन और क्रय विक्रय रूप सत्य व्यवहार ये वैश्य के स्वाभाविक कर्म है, तथा सब वर्णों की सेवा करना शूद्र का स्वाभाविक कर्म है. कृषि गौरक्ष वाणिज्यम. कृषि is agriculture business, all things agricultural, something to do with land, भूमि से लेकर के. So mostly farming, peasantry, or businesses related to that, whether seeds, agro businesses, all that. Goraksha. So Goraksha would be like dairy, poultry, that kind of like, not just cow protection. Go is cow and Raksha is protection, but all things related to the expansion of that. So normally we could say the dairy business, poultry business, Krushi, Goraksha, Vanijam. Vani kehte na, the tradesman. So Vanijam, the trading. So tending Mother Earth, tending cows and around that, and then utilizing it for trade. Whether it's agricultural trade, whether it's trade of milk, cheese, milk products, pizza, and the value chain can expand. I mean, the smart ones can then take it beyond and maybe grow that into a bigger business or whatever else. But they're generally rooted into this So Krushi Goraksha Varnijam. Varni is again all kinds of businesses. Now it could show up on the stock exchange, on Dalal Street, on Wall Street, wherever else. And you will see the Adanis and the Ambanis and some of the biggest ones. Seriously, I mean, this is something to watch. I sometimes tend to study that and the truth of this. And they really are the best of the best. जो वैश्य स्वभाव जो होते हैं ना, they are the cleverest, they are the smartest actually in terms of the business, the strategy, the stock trade, the portfolio trading, because it's like the thousands of years, like the DNA is constantly improving and constantly learning from and passing down, and they do rise to the top. और even जो बनिया लोग जो होते हैं, जो छोटे से छोटे भी अपना, like the smallest shops on the street, but they just do their own business and they earn their own livelihood rather than work for someone else. So ये जो वाणी का स्वभाव है, वाणिज्यम, क्योंकि कहते हैं कि वैश्य कर्म स्वभावजम, in the key, it's in their nature, स्वभाव. That's how they are. Now it's in the nature of water to flow. You keep water, it's not going to stay stable unless it's a stable ground. It's in the nature of earth to fall down, gravitate towards that. It's in the nature of light to go up. मोमबत्ती को उल्टा भी किया दिए को, फिर भी the flame goes up. So just like that, it's in the nature of a kshatriya to fight, grow, protect, all that. It's in the nature of a vani, of a vaishya, to do trade. Immediately they'll start identifying opportunities that we could spin this up. It's beautiful. It's actually something to be very proud of. It's beautiful to watch, it's clever, and it's lovely, fantastically smart people. Seriously. I mean, the way they create value, talk about value creation, like if you would have studied in the business school, nobody knows value creating better than the Vaishyas. And within that, like you see the most prominent in the Gujarati community. One of the reasons why I'm so fond of and so adore, admire, and respect and highly regard the Gujarati, because it's just like really smart people in value creation. And value creation is a positive thing. इसको यज्ञ कहाँ है तीसरे अध्याय में, यज्ञयाचरत कर्म. The only negative in that is that the value is meant just for me, my family, my Patel community, or that starts to become a little bit maybe limiting. But if the mindset could be, but the value creation, it takes a spark of God. As a Brahman, I'm telling you right now, I suck at value generation. I really don't know. I'm not good at. I mean, the only value I can generate is this, what I'm doing right now. So, but I'm in awe of those who are. So, basically, the point this brothers and sisters I'm making is, it's all filled with the Lord's shine. No matter who is doing what, there's brilliance in a kshatriya. No Vaishya, no Shudra, no Brahman together can be half as brave as a kshatriya in the face of danger. Like, kahan se itna testosterone aa gaya? He was like, just not afraid. We just don't know how to be afraid. और ऐसे ही वैश्य में वही क्षत्रिय सजीगा, ये तो पीछे से आ गया. Like, how did they create so much wealth? How did they create value? How do they have 10 million customers? Customers तो तभी आएंगे जब they actually get some value. Customers तो उल्लू नहीं है ना. You only have clients when they are actually getting some value. And so value generation is their main स्वभाव. And then परिचर्यात्मकम, ये शूद्र का जो है, serving the community through skillfully serving. Just say the first time when they approached it, I had said, you need a plumber, you need an electrician, you need a mason, you need the maids, we need the drivers, we need the car washers, and we need the people, we need 1,000 types of very skilled labor, right? Agree? Welders, fitters, jumpers, this, that, scaffolding, window washers, roof fixers. Tell me if they weren't there, if there was no plumber, no matter how big of a Brahman I am, I'd be begging, please can you fix my toilet? Because I don't know how to, or I don't want to, one of those two. And it is the plumber who then becomes the God, the shine of God, the talent, the gift, the skill. Within 30 minutes, all plumbing is resolved. कहाँ से छेद कर दिया, कहाँ से वायर खींची, कहाँ कनेक्शन कर दिया इलेक्ट्रिशियन ने, कहाँ क्या लगा दिया, In a matter of 4 hours, the whole thing is done and gone. Those are Shudras. So they are not any less, brother. They cannot be. If one must be greater than me as a Brahman, then I tell you with full faith that that Shudra is always superior to me, because I cannot do what the Shudra can, and therefore it's evident. And that's the way it is supposed to be. In the Gita it says parasparam bhavayanto. We're supposed to be holding each other's hands, supposed to be identifying each other's strengths, supposed to be lifting each other up, supposed to be growing together. And therefore together, he says, you can all reach that feeling. It's not putting anybody down, it's lifting everyone up. Because that alone is the truth, because the soul in all of them is the same shining self. So it's about clarity. Then we're not ashamed of being a Hindu. We're not ashamed that we have this caste system. We're not confused about, what should I answer if my Christian friend asks me, well, we have race, you have caste. But we can decode this complex, that we're actually proud of it. And I am. In fact, my God says that I made it, and I believe him. Therefore, why am I proud? Am I ignorantly proud? No, because here's why. It actually empowers me to honor and lift up and worship the goodness in them that is at times bigger than mine. So let me pause there, and we'll do a reflection on this. And then Brahman, as Brahman, there are 9 qualities that God said. Shamo, Dhamma, Tapa, Shaucham, Shantim, Arjavamevacha, Jnanam, Vijnanam, Astikyam. So the one thing that you picked, he's not teaching, is Vijnanam, like not spreading the knowledge. But what about the other 8? And I don't know that he's not teaching, because if he's mentoring juniors, if he's like his team, if he's whatever else he knows outside of IT, if he's sharing it, and he does, then it falls under that category. But for me to remain a Brahman, I have to first focus on and all the other things, Shama, Dham, Yeju, Shauch, Atikya. So it's just one of that. Brahman automatically just should not go just to teaching.
Yeah.
And it also depends on the subject. For a Brahman to teach weaponry could be hard, or business could be very difficult, right? You don't want to come to me about value generation. Come to me about Gita, but not that. Yeah.
I want to say something. Actually,
in fact, Bhai, he literally says that we've got 2 or 3 times that everybody has everything in it. In the 14th chapter also, very pointedly said that there isn't anyone, 13th chapter, 14th chapter, who doesn't have all of this, Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic. How many times have I said the greatest saints, when कितने बड़े में बड़ा संत, और the lowest of the low, सबों में अच्छाई भी है, संतों में बुराई भी है, कहीं न कहीं बुराई, like God forbid, watch my tongue, आज सरस्वती माँ रक्षा करे. But like something,
like,
something inside them that they would know, right? In other words, but I believe the Lord, therefore I think I trust Him, therefore I'll say it. But the bigger point is that बुरे में अच्छाई भी है, even though we don't realize it. So to your point, everybody has all of it. It's which one is predominating right now? No? Yeah.
Like I guess when you're maybe this is.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thought. You could say that again. Like the system is created to be in the least friction with yourself. Smooth performance of the community, of the society as a whole. To use your 4 wheels as an example of the car. Suppose all 3 wheels have the right amount of tire pressure, but the 4th one gets flat tire. It doesn't matter. ये 3 ये नहीं कह सकते ये गधा है मेरे को चलो अपन चलते हैं. I knew it. It's always that like everybody's stuck, boss. Like until that tire is like all 4 are stuck. Nobody's going anywhere. So you better figure out how we're gonna together we're going to work. So the whole society is dragged down. And in fact, in the first chapter, Arjun has that concern. If you remember, he says that, well, if they will be dead, then their wives will be widows, and then the kids will not have fathers, and they'll behave wanton behavior. Like the society will become distorted, and therefore nobody will know the rituals, nobody will worship anything, everything will become degraded. He sees that, which is what his concern is. And so I think we're all sort of aligning with that. But no, it's beautiful to watch this unfolding when we start to see that this is a systemic view, a systems view. What you said, in your own ways, all three of you said, really just showed systems view. When you said that everybody has everything, you're rising above individual concept. And you said that, well, in school while studying, she's demonstrating the Kshatriya Tej Dhairya. But in learning itself, she's displaying Brahman. Or the four wheels example that you get. That's a systems view. Because you're not talking about that individual tire or just that one. And when you really the mother of all, that's that you gave today's tagline, that so that you become, however you said, the least friction with yourself. And and you even said the system is designed to be. So this is the growth mindset. Growth, right? That we're starting to rise above, beyond ourselves and see life bigger than our little self and see the systems view in which we also belong. Ultimately, the end destination is where we realize that I am the system. It's not that I am part of the system or I'm one of the system, everybody. I am it. And that's when we become the staunchest steward of the system. That's when we behave with the greatest integrity. That's when we cannot and do not compromise. And we endlessly fight for the right and the good. And that's called dharma. It doesn't matter if I die, but I will defend the integrity of the system because I am that. Just the way I will defend myself, I will defend that because the identity becomes with the system itself. And that is the truth. Whenever we realize, we'll see that I am that system. I've just shrunk in this small, tiny form, thinking that I am a tiny part of the system and that's the tiny part, this is a tiny part. It's actually I am the whole system. But stuck in this little mindset right now. Unstuck hona. No? Okay, so today's last verse then, is there time to do that or one more verse? Okay. So this is 45. This is the one that I said in the beginning. This is that exit ramp. Swe karmani abhiratah sansiddhim labate naraha swakarma niratha siddhim yatha vindati tatshunam. This is 45, chapter 18. अपने अपने स्वाभाविक कर्मों में तत्परता से लगा हुआ मनुष्य भगवत प्राप्ति रूप परम सिद्धि को अवश्य प्राप्त हो सकता है. अपने स्वाभाविक कर्म में लगा हुआ मनुष्य जिस प्रकार से कर्म करके परम सिद्धि को प्राप्त होता है उस विधि को अब तू सुन. He said, listen, wherever you are, whatever you are, however you are, everybody, no matter what, sway is your, or mine, our, apna. That's sway, right? Swa is self, so sway is of the self, mine. Sway, karmani, like in the task that's at hand for me. For me, the task that's at hand for me, for you, the task that's at hand for you. That's sway karmani abhiratah. Engaged in that, fully engaged in that. Not you worrying about my task, thinking about my task, but thinking I have a better task. I'm sitting here, you're sitting there, or that he works for that company who has that title or that job, or they're in IT, or I'm doing this or that. Not that. Not you engaged in my task or I engaged in your task. No matter who you are, you could be a Brahman, I could be a Shudra. You could be teaching others, I could be cleaning the toilet in your house. No. So it doesn't matter. It says swe karmani abhiratah. Rata is passionately driving. Rati कहते हैं ना, रत हो गया, डूब गया, immersed. Abhirata is as if really likes it, as if really engaged in it. Why? Because no, this is the task given to me. I'm going to do it first class, my first class. हम लोग कहते हैं ना, whatever I do, I will do first class, not second class, never third class. No, I will do my first class. I will do my best, not the best. Remember, the best is a myth. There is no the best. Because even if I said, I did it the best, how do I know that someone else in Africa, Tanzania, running right now cannot run faster than me? I ran the fastest. How do I know? I don't know everybody's running speed or cricket or whatever, right? Or painting. How do I know that? The best could be out there. Therefore, the best is a myth. But my best is absolute. This is counterintuitive. It feels the other way around. My best is absolute because I know my best. I know when I could have done better. I know when I could have given more. I know when I could have stayed for longer. I would know when I could have showed up better. I know it, which means I know that that wasn't my best. I also know when I did do my best, I outperformed myself. Those are the moments, look within, we feel the best about ourselves. Not when we ate such and such food, or when we went to these people's houses, or that vacation, or wore that, or danced, or got so much money, or got promoted, or gave a big gift to someone, or someone else gave a gift to me. The best feeling moments are when we have done our best. I'll challenge you to think within yourself, because hence I call it the absolute. There's nothing superior to that. So swe karmani abhiratah. That's what that means. Sam siddhim labate naraha. By without exception performing like this, sam siddhim labate naraha. Sama is ever the same. Samata. That always someone who does always her or his best without exception, whatever task is given to them, wherever they have been placed, because we're all part of that system, and the system is one. Ultimately, I am that system. So what does it matter if this is my house? What does it matter if I have to clean this room or that room? Ultimately, I have to clean the entire house. It doesn't matter where I have been placed, or if I have 3 children and I brought this for my kids to eat. It doesn't matter this much. Isne ye kyun khaya, usne wo khaya, as long as everybody's fed. So that mindset drops. What task have I been given? What role do I have? What's my hierarchy? What's my title? How do I look? Who gets credit? But this is where it shows up. I did all the work and they got all the credit. But you aren't them. You are them. If they got credit, you also got credit. If you know this, then you actually don't want credit, because you're already satiated. You know that they're struggling, they're suffering, and so you want to perpetrate and give them credit. This is how Ram was, by the way. Ram's character, if you carefully study, he would shoot target, and he would set up. Bharat was the one, because everybody made fun of him, or he would do something really good deed, and set it up as if he would never lie, but as if everyone would believe that this was Lakshman, because they felt inferior. He would figure some ways out to make them feel just as good, just as strong, just as stable, just as superior, because he was satiated. He was Paramatma. He knew that he was in that Lakshman and in Bharat, and he didn't want them to feel any less. He always felt good and big and strong about it, because he was God. Everybody is, but no one knows. God knows God is God. Others don't, and I've forgotten. So when we become like that, when we emulate Ram's character in our behaviors, and if he had to walk away, he walked away. If he didn't even have shoes to wear, he was fine. If he had to live hungry, he stayed hungry. If he had to fight, wage wars, he did. If he had to sit on a throne, he did. If he had to rule the kingdom, he did. So that's the sama. So sve karmani abhirata sam siddhim. Siddhi is fulfillment, final fulfillment. Whatever it is in the end that you want, you will have that. Nara. Nara is Manusha. Very specific, only in the Manusha category, right? Not gods, demigods, dogs, cats. In the sve karmani abhirata sam siddhim labate naraha. Swakarmana, अपना जो भी कर्म है, tam abhyarcham, with the feeling of offering. Archana कहते हैं ना, archam. Archana is puja, na, worship. Worshipfully performing. Devotional performance. Doing the work. Karma yogi jo hote with devotional heart se. That ahuti ki I'm doing this for the integrity of the system, for lifting others up, for upliftment, for the betterment of everyone. Yagya ki bhavana se. Swakarmana tamabhyarcham sansiddhim lavate narha. Tamabhyarcham yatha bindati tatshanu. How it is, how do they reach final fulfillment? They weren't even in the temple. They weren't even chanting my name. They weren't even giving me a red flower on Wednesday and orange on Friday and whatever, white on Monday. They did none of that. There was no Pedan, there was no Pranaswa. They did none of that, and yet they have me. The final fulfillment. How is that? They were just cleaning toilets. Shabri was just रोज झाड़ू लगाती थी. Ram looked, asked for Shabri कहाँ रहती है, Shabri कहाँ रहती है. Asked 100 people, finally found his way to Shabri. वो तो भिलन थी, She was lower than Shudra. That's a fifth category. Like, all she knew was how to sweep clean. That's only talent, only gift. How to sweep clean. Didn't even know that झूठा नहीं खिलाते हैं. And the संस्कार. और भगवान ढूंढते ढूंढते आ रहा है. शबरी कहाँ है. यह है फाइनल फुलफिलमेंट है कि नहीं. नवदा भक्ति राम ने एक ही को दी सारे रामायण में, शबरी को. The ninefold worship. Krishna told it to Uddhava on his last day, and Ram told it to Shabari on that day. That how is it that you progress on the path of devotion, the 9 steps of that. So, how does that happen? Like, she was, and Ravan, who was the fiercest enemy, also achieved, because he would not listen, nothing other than Ram. He thought more of Ram than any darn person right there. Ram. Ant tak athwa kansa ki sthiti kahi jati hai. So this one reached through that, she reached through that, and then Sudama and Uddhava reached through different means. Because wherever they're just first class. That doesn't mean that I'm glorifying Ravan. So there is a whole theory behind why this and not that. But the point is that the final fulfillment can be had. And he says, listen, I will now do the final unpacking for you. How? In staying where you've been put, doing what's in front of you in the best possible manner, with this feeling of upholding system integrity, never mind all the other noise, you can still experience me and achieve the final fulfillment. Yeah? That's that verse 45. And we just took that exit. And the next time when we will see what's ahead as we approach our home. This is like the final turn in the Gita. So let's stop here and get any other final thoughts, and we'll decide next month's session. I'm going to India for a month. I'll be back on like 11th, 12th of March. Oh, it's the same, the No Kid Hungry. We're also launching in Kenya first, in Nairobi. And then from there, we're doing a fundraiser for partners in India, in Mumbai and other places. And then I'll come back. So, but we'll have something in March also. So, Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.